Society has it out for lonely men. Society loves to reject lonely men and isolate them, and then blame those men for their self isolation and their self healing structures and patterns. There's a reason why millions of men are refusing to try to integrate into society. Who in their right mind would try to integrate into a society that doesn't even value you as a human being, that doesn't even see you as a human, that doesn't even have any type of consideration or passion for you? It absolutely makes no sense. In the world today, man, you're going to notice that people are becoming more heartless. They're becoming more selfish. Your family members don't give a damn about you. Your friends and any associates, they don't give a damn about you. Your boss at your job really doesn't give a damn about you, and your coworkers don't even like you and you don't like them. And you find yourself in this position. You find yourself in this sci-fi Stalingrad, as I say, you know, where you're in constant battle, you're in a constant state of war. And it nerfs you. It nerfs you in so many ways to be isolated and to not have a girl in your life. Lonely men are nerfed by the society. They're nerfed by their negative experiences. All those things that you went through in life, it didn't strengthen you. It didn't make you stronger. It made you more weaker and susceptible to people's manipulations. But then the more you got manipulated and psychologically degraded, the more you realize, hey, I need to start thinking about myself. I need to start thinking about how can I make something for myself that's going to rise and be sufficient and effective for my own ascension. The traditional way of earning money and, finding, an apartment and then getting your first house, that's gone. That's out the window. Nowadays, you're going to have to think more of like an entrepreneur. You're going to have to start a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Even though, YouTube is, it's not the same as it was 8 years ago where it was really, a moneymaker. But you have to start some type of online presence, or if that's not your thing, if you want to be more private, which I understand, because there's some crazy people out there. But you're going to have to make something for yourself. Learn how to code a video game. Learn how to, even if it's not going to work, even if that's not going to be your escape, it's better to learn those skills and have those attributes than to just keep on going through the same type of meat grinder. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give you some blue-pilled hope. The truth is this. There is no hope. There is only cope until the day that, you're liquidated. But think about all the things in life that broke you down. The lack of having female intimacy, the lack of having real family functionality, the lack of having real friends and real people that give a damn about you and care about you. Man, that plays an effect on your mind, And they wonder why men just see this world that we're in today and just say, fuck it. It's no point even trying anymore. And then you're going to be criticized for that. You're going to be criticized for your lack of enthusiasm for living this life of lies, And you got to really think, man, why does this life insist on giving us pain? Why? What's the real? Let's break this down for real, man. Let's get a real conversation going, man. What's the goal behind all of us going through this hell that we go through in life? Who does it ultimately benefit? We know that resources are scarce artificially because they can give $100 billion to Israel. They give infinite money to Israel, but when it comes to regular American cities and infrastructure, they have no money, they have no jobs, they have no this, they have no that, And the system that we rely on, it's always built on being obedient and being subservient to somebody who doesn't even respect you as a human being, let alone respect you as a man. We don't live in the days of old when you can just be a regular guy coming off the street or whatever, just, get an apartment, just shake the guy's hand and, say, have a good day, sir. It's like, those days are gone. We live in a time where to even get an apartment, in a good area, not in the area where you got, you YNs running around catching the yops and letting that Glock pop, not no areas like that. But if you want to get an apartment in a good area, hell, anyone really, there's so many security checks and security parameters they have to go through. Certain places don't do it, but then it's always in an area that's not conducive to your spiritual growth. But even for an apartment, man, it's ridiculous. Even finding a regular 9 to 5 that's not going to, destroy your soul alive is ridiculous. And then there's some people out there that get to make 35, almost $40 million off of YouTube. They get to make YouTube videos for a living. They get to do Twitch gaming. They get to have the girls of their dreams. They get to have all this money. So it shows you that if one person can make $40 million damn near off of YouTube, there's a wealth of abundance out there. It's just not being trickled down to us, the people that really need it. People that really go through real hell and real pain in this world. There's so much destruction and corruption in this world. It makes you wonder who created this. Who? Who would create a world where where people and animals have to parasite and cannibalize each other in order to survive? That doesn't make sense. It only makes sense if the God of this world wants us to suffer on purpose. He wants us to go through hell on purpose. He wants us to be miserable on purpose. There's no reason for this artificial scarcity. Money is an artificially created construct. Money should not be the determining factor of the value of your soul, which is an eternal thing. Your soul, your spirit, for those of us that have souls. Some people listening now is probably a Hilux, And what's a Hilux? A Hilux is an NPC, pretty much, And it's very frustrating, man, when a lot of us just wanted happiness, we wanted peace, we wanted just to achieve the things that we really wanted to achieve. Like, it doesn't make sense in this world where you'll be working 2 or 3 jobs, and still struggling, Like, I don't know, man. I think the younger generation, they have it very hard. I was talking to an associate, I'm not going to say friend, but somebody that I talk to periodically, like every 3-5 years. We talk on Xbox Live. I see him online all the time, but we don't talk all the time. But when we were younger, we used to be in like Call of Duty clans, Gears of War clans, Halo clans. When I was young, I was all into game battles when I was young. I was in so many different clans. We used to have like battle other clans, and we used to record it on the website, and went to tournaments, online tournaments. I haven't been to a in-person tournament, but online tournaments and stuff. And our clans, the clans I was in was pretty decent. Pretty good, But this person I was talking to was telling me about their little brother, like their little brother, he just turned 22, and how he's having like a hard time. Like, he's having a hard time finding a 9 to 5, he's having a hard time, even trying to find a girl. And I realized that it's not really an age thing anymore, It's because, like, even though I'm my age, I relate to younger people. Like, I still relate to people that are like teenagers, people in their early 20s, people in their mid 20s, late 20s. Like, these are the people that I relate to. I don't really relate to people my age or older that are doing well in life, because they don't understand. Because a lot of people had help. A lot of people had help from their parents, help from their grandparents. I knew somebody in high school, man. I was like in I think 11th grade, and like this person's grandfather had passed at the time. And then like he inherited like, I think like almost like $2 million or something like that. And then like he got like his grandfather's farm in like North Carolina. I remember he was on my football team, and like within a month or two, he said, F it. I don't think he even finished graduating school. I think he did, but in another state, but he didn't graduate there, right? And so he was gone. And so he was like, barely 17 or something like that. So he already was handed wealth and power in his own farm. So he can just build that up and build his own business and just create assets that appreciate in value. Meanwhile, the rest of us, we have to be thrown into the battlefield. We have to be thrown into the sci-fi Stalingrad, where we have to fight for ourselves, where we're surrounded by the enemy. The enemy's coming to neutralize us quickly. The enemy's coming to make sure that we don't win, to make sure that we get eliminated, and make sure we get destroyed and trapped in this void. And we have to fight that. We have to fight the demons in our mind. We have to fight the people around us, the people that we see every day, just everyday regular people. I remember not too long ago, I don't know if I told this story before, maybe I did, I don't know. My mind's so, just stressed, but I remember this girl was walking her dog or whatever, right? And, I was kind of feeling in a decent mood, I guess, and those rare times where I'm just like, okay, I'm feeling quite decent or whatever. And I just say, good morning. And I kid you not, this girl like looked at me like I kicked her puppy. Like I literally took the dog and like threw it off a roof or something. And all I said was good morning. And she gave me the most evilest look, like the look that you would give like a monster, a look you would give somebody that is not worthy of any type of love or sympathy or empathy, and I knew it was because my face and my skin color configuration. Because had I been a Tyrone and I was like 6'4", looking like Jeremy Meeks, she would have smiled back and probably invited me to her damn house. But since I'm not an attractive guy. I don't look the best. Women in society tend to treat you like crap based on looks. People like to say looks are not everything, but that's cope. Looks are everything. Looks is how people determine whether you're worthy of their time, worthy of their love, worthy of their sympathy, worthy of their mercy. It's all dependable on looks. Have you ever seen like an evil girl, but she's beautiful? You know, like she's like a wicked girl, but she's extremely beautiful. And because she's beautiful, she'll never face the consequences of her actions. She'll do little messed up stuff like call the police on her boyfriend just because she's seen him messaging a girl on Instagram or going on a girl Instagram's photo and saying, "Oh, that looks good on you," or "That's pretty," or "cute," or just something really innocent. That's not really that doesn't warrant the police. At least you know what I mean. It warrants maybe a relationship talk, but not getting the police involved. And then she makes something up like he hit her, and then the cops automatically take the woman's side. And then that guy's life is pretty much ruined. But she's beautiful and pretty, and everybody's going to take her side because of her beauty, because of her looks. And on the flip side to that, if you're a guy like us, an excess man in this position, the world's automatically going to think you're guilty. You don't even have to do anything wrong. You can be the most kind-hearted, loving person in the world. But if the world looks at you and you're an ugly guy or you're an unattractive guy, the world's automatically going to think you're guilty of something. It doesn't matter what it is. They're going to look at you like you're guilty of something. You're guilty of some crime. And the only crime you're guilty of really is not being able to have control over how you look like, which is, equivalent to not having control over your life. Because what the normies and the NPCs and the Hylics don't get is that your looks determine everything. I don't care about some software engineer who's like 300 pounds and he's fat and he makes 150,000 a year. He still ain't getting laid. You know what I mean? Without, paying the escort. And even then, some of those guys are so weird that, they've been so isolated for a long time that they don't even pay for escorts. They just buy a sex doll. They buy a freaking life size, one of those sex dolls or whatever, and they marry them or they become in love with them. It's brutal because they know that even though they make a lot of money, women are never going to find them attractive. Women are always going to find them detestable, and it's a brutal reality, Once you realize that this world is based on looks, it's not based on how happy or how you like. It's not based on how good your soul is and how happy your soul is. It's only based on how you look like, and that's what people judge. When you meet somebody, the first thing they do is judge you. The first thing they do is see, how you look like, and that goes for men and women, bruh. If you're an ugly guy, unattractive guy, even other guys don't even want to be your friends, They don't want to hang out with you. Like, you ever notice that one guy in school that nobody liked and nobody hung out with because he looked a certain way? He didn't get no quote-unquote women, Like, you see that in school all the time where the guy that's an unattractive guy, he gets teased, he gets bullied, he gets humiliated because, he can't get female attention and validation. And this nurtures you in life. But you go so long without having women in your life, man. And when you go so long without having that love and that, almost like that justice to live, man. When you go years without that, it does something to you, man. And it's a change that you can't revert back to your old ways. Not having a woman in your life for such a long time and not having the things you want in your life for such a long time, it changes you permanently. It scars your soul. It scars your mind. It scars everything. Fucking normies don't understand the shit we go through. And then you're always under this pressure. You're under this pressure to try to find a job. Then once you find the job, you got to keep the job. My best advice to anybody that's creative is work your job, but try your best to start working for yourself. You know, once I get better, equipment. The first thing I'm gonna have so many different channels coming up in the future, bro. Like I'm gonna have my video game review channel. And then I'm gonna have like another channel just for video game walkthroughs, like the Rad Brad. And I'm even gonna have a food review channel. Like I'm gonna have all that. And then I wanted to do like a weed review channel as well. I had kind of like something like that. I was just experimenting, but I want to do it. Like I want to have multiple channels for multiple avenues of my creativity. I don't want to just keep, you know, making videos like this. I love videos like this because it helps me vent, and it helps people that go through the same shit I go through, it helps them vent. But I want to expand, but I just don't have the equipment, I'm freaking homeless. I'm trying my best to make videos the best way I can. That's why, it may not be the best quality, but I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking from my soul. There's no bullshit. It's real. It's raw. It's authentic. You won't find it in many places on YouTube. Everybody has a persona to keep up. They don't want to show how they're truly feeling because they're embarrassed about how people. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. They'll never say it to my face because they know what will happen. You know what I mean? Point blank. Period. They'll just talk online, and that's all. It'll just be online. I lacked one time and got trolled and got doxxed and all that crap, But now I'm way more secretive. I'm not trying to talk about my personal life. I keep the videos on what it needs to be, I'm going that old Total Biscuit way, you know what I mean? Just make the videos, and the videos are going to resonate to people that like it, and that's it. You know what I mean? And communicate with those who want to communicate with me that are real and authentic, and that's that. But in this world, man, you're going to know that this life is going to target you. When you're a guy that's rejected, when you're a guy that's isolated, when you're a guy that's devastated, the world is going to target you. There's like an invisible marker on your back. It's like an invisible sniper rifle scope on your back that it's brutal. And we just have to keep on fighting and keep on going through it, man. But I'm telling you right now, the moment you give up on your dreams and aspirations and hope, the moment you're going to let your soul go. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, that's the only way to go. Brutal.